Hello and sadly welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat, and this is a video that I really did not want to be bringing you. It really isn't. I'm sure, as you have all heard, and obviously from the title of this video, it's probably all over social media by now, but Buckingham Palace has recently announced that Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, was involved in a road traffic accident, an RTA, earlier this afternoon at around 3 o'clock GMT British time. Just so you all know, Prince Philip is said by the palace to be unhurt, uninjured, perfectly fine. He has been given the once over by medics back at Sandringham when he returned, and all appears to be well with his health. However, I've seen the photographs, and I'm sure probably you have too, of the actual situation, of the actual accident scene. And my goodness, how on earth he escaped from that accident uninjured is completely beyond me. I mean, it is literally a miracle. So I just want to say at the very, very top of this video that, you know, my thoughts and my prayers and everything are all with Prince Philip and of course the Queen. I do believe, by the way, that he is uninjured. I don't think that is any kind of any kind of untruth. I do believe the palace when they say that he is uninjured, but I'm sure that he is very probably shaken. You know, you would be being involved in that kind of accident. So I want to go straight away to the chat room because I want to see what people are saying. Of course I do. And by the way, in the comments section of this video, if you want to, please leave your messages if you want to the royal family and to Prince Philip, because who knows, maybe a member of the royal family may even be watching and may even be able to pass on our well wishes to Prince Philip. So yes, lots of people saying that they're worried and that they've seen that he was okay. I have linked in the description to where you can find the photo, because obviously I can't put a photo in one of these live pop-up videos. So click on the link or open the link in a new window, and then you can see what we're all talking about. So yes, I'm going to go through now some of the details about what we do know. We don't know terribly too much. We only have had... In fact, I'm going to start with the actual statement from Buckingham Palace. So I think that's a really good place to start, because obviously that is what we actually know. So Buckingham Palace said, the Duke of Edinburgh was involved in a road traffic accident with another vehicle this afternoon. The Duke was not injured. The accident took place close to the Sandringham estate. Local police attended the scene. So that is what we actually know. That is the official release from Buckingham Palace. Now, we also know that this happened round about 3 PM because the police gave a statement and said that this was the time that they attended the scene. It was a two-vehicle collision, and as the statement said, it was close to the Sandringham estate. So not actually on the estate, it was close. The Prince, or the Duke, was believed to be driving the Range Rover, and the second vehicle was a people carrier, which eyewitnesses said was coming out of a driveway. Two people were treated at the scene, possibly the people from the people carrier. That's what I'm assuming. And the doctor gave him a once over once he was back at Sandringham and has given him the all clear. And that bit of information about giving him the all clear has come from a British royal reporter who has some kinds of contacts, and that is what she has said. So we need to kind of treat that with a little bit of, it may not be true, but I do believe that it probably is true. And that also coincides with the official statement, which says that the Duke was uninjured. So I do believe, I will say again, I do believe that he was uninjured. Eyewitnesses also said that they saw Philip walking away from the scene, which is always a good sign. And like I say, if you've opened the link and you've seen the photos, how anybody could have walked away from that scene, I have no idea. The vehicle, Philip's vehicle, the Range Rover, was literally upturned on the driver's side, it looked like. So I have no idea how on earth he got out of there uninjured. Again, it's very, very hard to tell, to me at least. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a crash investigator, but when you look at it, it's very, very awkward to see kind of what might have happened, what the scenario was. You know, were both vehicles going too fast? Was one vehicle going too fast? Was it human error from either vehicle? I don't know. Was it road conditions? In the UK today, it has been incredibly icy. I had to defrost my car, and the roads and paths have been icy. So there could be many, many reasons as to why it happened. But yes, it is quite hard to also see perhaps how the vehicle actually upturned on its end. So I'm not entirely sure about that. Of course, the Queen and Philip are staying currently at Sandringham as part of their Christmas holidays. And police and an ambulance are said to have rushed to the scene. So I think the scene was attended very, very promptly. Now, in Philip's vehicle, there was said to be another person. Now, I think, again, we don't know the facts. The other person has not been named, I will say. Again, the other person has not been named. But I think it's pretty fair to say that it would likely, if it's Philip and one other person, it's likely to be the protection officer. So Philip's protection officer is more than likely to have been the second person. If he was in the vehicle with another family member, then there would have been 3 people in the car, because it would have been Philip, the family member, and the protection officer. So seeing as it's just 2 people, I think we can safely ascertain that it was the protection officer. And that's kind of all that we actually know about what's gone on. Of course, this is a breaking news story, so as soon as anything else comes, I will of course let you know. Now I'm going to take a few comments. So I'm going to go all the way back up to the start of the comments and kind of work my way down. Lots of people saying thank God that he's okay. People are watching it on the TV and have probably seen the photos on the TV. I agree, Bev. He may be a little bit sore tomorrow, in more ways than one, because we know that he's a very headstrong, independent man, and, you know, being involved in this kind of accident, it can hurt your pride sometimes, especially if it is you that was at fault. We don't know who was at fault, but, you know, if it was me that was involved in an accident and I caused it, I would be hurt, I think, in more ways than one. Lots of people... yes, Ruth, Prince Philip was driving the Range Rover. Danielle says he's lucky to be okay. At his age, any shock can be fatal. I mean, I didn't really want to mention the whole age thing, but it is going to crop up, isn't it? So I think it's fairly pertinent to mention it. Philip is 97 years old. A grand old age for a grand old duke, I might say. And as we know, he's fiercely independent, has been effectively retired for 2 years, and he still enjoys an active retirement, driving, carriage driving, all the things that he likes to do. However, we know that with age comes age-related ailments, eyesight, reaction time. Hey, if we're lucky enough to get to 97, I hope that I am as fit and as healthy as what the Duke is at 97. I really do. But, hey, you're 97 years old. You know, reaction times can slow down and all the rest of it. Now, I'm not saying that the blame is with Philip. It may not be. It could have been the other driver. It could have been road conditions. It could have been so many other things. But the one thing that I think we can all agree with about Philip is that he is an incredibly practical person. He knows when it's the right time to do something. And I think we can all probably trust in his judgment. He is a wise man. He's a wise gentleman. And if the fault in this accident did lie with him, And if that fault is something to do with reaction times, that kind of thing, then I think I have faith in him that he would know what the right decision and what the right course of action should be in response to this. Nobody wants to take away Philip's independence. And, I know my grandfather passed away at 94 last year, actually. And it was very, very difficult when he got to an age where he was still driving and it became unsafe. And I think, not just me, but, millions of families across the world will know that when an elderly relative gets to the point where they still fiercely want their independence, they want to drive, it's very difficult to tell them that, hey, maybe it's time to think about not doing it anymore. And who knows, it could be at that point for Philip, which is really, really bad because he's only been retired for 2 years and nobody wants to see him, giving up that kind of independence when you've only been retired for 2 years. That's not a very nice thing to happen. But I trust in Philip that I don't think he would need to be told by his family. I think he is sensible enough to know what needs to be done, if that is the case. Like I said, it may not be. I'm only talking about this because, that is one of the options. Like I say, the other option could be that the other car was at fault, the other car was driving too fast. It could have been weather conditions, it could have been visibility conditions that could have affected anybody of any age. We don't know. So I think we do need to keep an open mind about that. But like I say, I do trust in Philip that he knows what happened. He knows what happened, whether it was the other person or him. And I think he will make the correct decision for him. I think he's very good at knowing when changes need to be made. So yes, I think I have my complete faith in Philip that he will know what to do, if indeed anything does need to be done at all. Lynn says, what does RTA stand for? Road Traffic Accident. Lots of people saying that that they're glad that he's okay, of course. We don't know who the other driver is, but we know that they walked away from the scene okay. I don't believe that anybody was hospitalised. And I think it's important to remember as well, there are lots of drivers that are Philip's age that are perfectly, completely safe. We had a programme in the UK not so long ago called 100-year-old drivers. Some of them were perfectly fine and some of them needed a little bit of brushing up. They actually put these 100-year-old drivers, or thereabouts 100, with a driving instructor, and some of their skills had lapsed a little bit over time. And of course some of them had taken their tests before all the current regulations and before roads had got as busy and as difficult as what they are these days. And basically they kind of took lessons. They took driving lessons and they upped their skills. And quite a lot of these elderly drivers, 100-year-old drivers, were able to upskill themselves. They were able to upskill, and they actually took kind of like a mock driving test. And most of them passed their mock driving test. Some of them also decided that maybe it was a time to give up, but a lot of them just upskilled themselves, they improved their reaction times, and they were deemed perfectly safe to carry on driving, which again is maybe something that could be looked at if that is, of course, something that is applicable. We do not know if that is applicable. And Elizabeth says they probably won't let him drive anymore. You try and tell the Duke to do something, not to do something that he wants to do. He is an incredibly headstrong gentleman, we know. I admire that about Philip. But like I say, I don't think it will come to the point where anybody has to stop him from doing anything. I think he will know when the right time is. So I don't think the family will have their heads bitten off because I don't think they'll try. I think he will know. I really do. I have my faith. I really do. If indeed that is something that needs to be done, like I said. Matilde says the following days when an accident can hurt the most. I agree. And we don't know about things like whiplash because they can come on a little bit afterwards, can't they? And yes, a people carrier is a bit like it's a multi-person vehicle. So like if you've got loads of kids, it's one of those things you have if you've got lots of children. A people carrier. And yes, a bit like a van. Kelly says, thanks for letting us know. Late to hear this in the US. Careful, he is not seriously injured. Well, we've only really kind of found out within the last hour as well. Fuzzled Halo says it's always human error. Not entirely. It could have been a weather condition. The road could have been slippy and icy that could have affected things. We don't know that level of detail just yet. Sophie says the Duke is a strong man. I would indeed agree. He has survived exile. World War II. He's been privileged, but he hasn't had an easy life. I agree. And this is probably just one, he's really good at just picking himself up and getting on with things. So as long as he is safe, and he knows what the answer is to that, then we may see him just pick himself up and carry on. We really, really do not know. Tim says the Queen should tell him to take a break from a car and drive a scooter. I don't think the Queen would tell him to do that. I think he'd bite her head off as well. Queen or no Queen, I really do. I admire his spunk. And yes, he's always going to face those questions of should he be driving at 97. He knows. He will know that. I totally have my faith in that he knows. Danielle says, who is going to be brave enough to tell him he should call it a day? Good luck to them. I agree. Heads will roll. Lou Guy says he takes courses, drives every day, but he does live in a small village. Like I say, sometimes with people that took their test a very long time ago, things change. I mean, look, from when I took my test, things have changed on the road. The roads are busier. Imagine what it's going to be like in another 30, 40 years on our roads. It could be completely different. How I passed my test may not be even applicable in 30, 40 years' time. Things change. So maybe a little bit of upskilling may be something that he may be open to, if indeed he does need to be upskilled at all. We do not know. Leslie Lane Fenton says, it is in a two-vehicle collision, it will be important to determine how it happened. I am over 70 now. Unfortunately, even if there is no fault, if elderly, age will be a consideration. Yes, that's what people are speaking about. Good wishes to all, I would agree indeed. Sweet Serenity says, sorry, but 100-year-old people have no business driving any vehicle. Well, they do if they're safe. And, there is talk about perhaps having some kind of an age limit, a legal age limit, where you have to, either upskill or take your test again. Because like I say, things change. Things change on the road. And it shouldn't matter how old you are that you're driving. It should just matter that you're safe. That is all. Michael says the weather in the UK has been reported one of the worst in years, the cold and snow. No, I haven't got any snow, but it is incredibly cold and it was very icy. So that's another thing I'm thinking. Maybe there was ice on the road. The accident took place close to the Sandringham estate, and I have no idea how the media found out. Maybe they were alerted when the police and the ambulance attended. Arlade says, please recap for those who have just joined. Yes, Buckingham Palace has released a statement saying that the Duke of Edinburgh has been involved in a road traffic accident, and if you follow the link in the description to the photos, you will see Philip's vehicle had actually upturned on its side, but he is said to be okay. He has been checked by a doctor, by a physician back at Sandringham, and all is good. He is uninjured and unharmed. Lynn says he obviously doesn't know when to stop driving, as he still was. No one is a safe driver at 97. They don't have the reaction time anymore. Well, some don't, not all. We can't give a sweeping generalisation on age. We are not ageist on this site, are we? We welcome age. We're all, hopefully, if we're lucky enough, going to get to that age. And I don't think I would like it if I was 97 and people said that I didn't have reaction times, and if I did have them. So I think it's an individual thing, and like I say, you know, maybe an upskilling may be required, maybe not. I don't know. I think Philip will know which direction to take, and I think it will always be his decision. Lou Guys says, my dad gets tested by the doctor every 2 years. He looks 70 even though he's 90. Wow. Live, love and laugh says, sorry, but I would not feel safe being driven by a 100-year-old. Personal choice, I think. The Queen still drives, by the way. That's an important thing to note. Philip is 97 years old. Elizabeth says he's doing great, even with his hip surgery a few months back. I think it might be good if he drives within the castle grounds. Again, the hip could be a consideration. Was there a problem with the hip? I don't know. Magna says these roads are well known to him. It could have been completely the other's car's fault. Indeed it could. We do not know all of the details. Yvette says, good job as usual. The Duke knows his limitations. I'll say it again. I've said it about 50 million times today. I have complete faith in the Duke that he will know when the time is right to make that change. I really do. Blessings always says, I just saw the BBC News. Oh my God, Philip was lucky. He was indeed. That car was rolled onto the side with the windshield smashed. It was. If you looked at the scene, you'd think, oh my goodness, someone died. You would really think that. But no, he walked away from the scene and is uninjured. Sweet Serenity says, lobby, the laws changed. I think it would be good, perhaps, to give a little check. Just to make sure that people are up to scratch. Carmen says, my first thought was that it must have been his fault because of his age, but actually that is nothing else but age discrimination. I would agree. You're sorry for that and hope all is well. I think until we know all of the facts, I think we have to keep the options open. It could have been a number of reasons. These accidents can happen for a number of reasons. How old is Philip? 97. Arnold says, I would think the airbags would be dangerous for a man his age. Again, they can be. Just the speed that they come out at your face. But imagine if they weren't there. It could have been even worse. Teresa says, people carrier, thanks for explaining. You call them a lime, a van, or a suburban. Okay. Live, Love and Laugh says, the accident is a wake-up call for the Duke. Hope he considers stopping, regardless of weather conditions. Hope he slows down. He's not the sort to slow down. Come on, we're talking about Philip, the grand old Duke. The grand old Duke of Edinburgh. No, I think, like I say, I think, just like the Queen is the same. They will make concessions for their age as and when is appropriate to do so. And he will know. He will know when that happens. Kelly says the Duke is one tough old chap. Sorry if I've missed loads of comments. I'm literally kind of skipping up and down all over the place. Cindy says, I'm surprised he didn't break his other hip. The car looked a mess. Oh, by the way, we do believe that vehicle recovery has been at the scene, and I think the Range Rover has been recovered. Bernadette Carson says, yes, there are a few drivers who are aged in their 80s and 90s and 100, but if the person is compos mentis, you can't stop them from driving. We can advise but not stop. Glad all are uninjured and well. I would agree 100%. It is that person's decision. A family can advise if they don't want their heads bitten off, but he will know. I'm standing by my faith in him that he will know what is the right thing to do. 300 Bucks says, we don't know if the accident was age-related. You can't automatically assume it was age. Other people can have accidents due to other causes, just like younger people. I agree entirely. Which is kind of the premise of this video. That's what I'm kind of saying. We have to keep our options open. Because we do not know all of the information at this point. If we ever will, that means. Okay, I'm just skipping through. Hang on. Lou Guy says, my dad was 90. My dad who's 90 floor curls down on one knee and sides and sweeps, uses new technologies, cell phone, visits people daily, and has a steady routine. I agree that, age shouldn't necessarily stop you from driving. Magna says, the person witnessing the accident was the one calling the BBC and helping him out of the car. I don't know that. We do not know that. Yes, Philip was driving. Angel says, my dad is 80 and still drives and has dementia. You pray when in the car. Well, I think if you've got dementia, that may be a time when perhaps you could be told not to drive anymore. Okay, I'm just skipping down a little bit. Lady Buckingham says, sweet serenity. Oh no, that's a personal comment. I'm not reading that one. Okay, and that's kind of all that we really know about the whole situation. Just for people that have joined, I'm going to read the Buckingham Palace statement, the official statement again, which says, the Duke of Edinburgh was involved in a road traffic accident with another vehicle this afternoon. The Duke was not injured. The accident took place close to the Sandringham estate. Local police attended the scene. And that is the very brief and short and concise official press release statement from Buckingham Palace, which I think the key element of it is that the Duke was uninjured. And I think we need to kind of stand by that. Even though the picture of the scene looks horrendous, I believe the palace when they say that he is uninjured. They haven't got anything to gain from not telling the truth. If it was a serious injury, he would be in hospital, and it would be a completely different message. They would have to say that he is in hospital. So I believe them. I believe he is back at Sandringham. I believe that he did walk away from the scene uninjured, and that he's been checked over, and that everything is okay. But like a few people have been saying, I think, you can have delayed things. So perhaps tomorrow, maybe a little bit sore for Philip. I think he'll need Nurse Queen on hand. I'm sure Nurse Queen will be there to give him all the love and attention that he needs. But yes, he's the sort of person that likes to get back up on his feet and carry on. So there we go. Glitter Sunflower says, talk was he had his security in the car. Yes, we do believe that the other person in the car was the personal protection officer, because obviously a personal protection officer is assigned to go with their charge wherever they go. So the fact that there wasn't 3 people in the car kind of signals that the other person was the protection officer. Sweet Serenity says, I look marvellous. Well, thank you so much. Lou Guy says, thank you, Elliot, you are forever kind. You are more than welcome. Annette says, it is more than difficult to have to give up your independence. We had to take my mom's licence away after 2 accidents. Then, of course, we had to share taking her around and arrange senior transport. It's a very difficult decision to make. But like I say, you know, I think I believe in Philip that he will know when to make that decision when the time comes. Pam G says, feel better soon, Prince Philip, and get some rest. I think you do need to get some rest. Even though you may feel, you know, uninjured, and just rest, please. Yes, he does have to hold a licence. He's not exempt like the Queen. He will have had to have taken a test way back when. But like I say, roads and things change. Yes, I agree. The accident could have been caused by the other person. Like I said, it could have been road conditions. It's been incredibly icy. It could have been driver error from the other vehicle. It could have been driver error from Philip's side. It could have been a whole host of things. It could have been something running in the road. Who knows? You know, it could have been an animal, you know, running in the road and causing, you know, you really don't know. You really do not know. Lou Guy says, Nurse Queen, lovely. And I bet she wears the hat too. Trudy says, yes, you rest. Philip, get some rest. Most people don't tell you what to do, but I'm going to say get some rest. Yes, it is rural there. Sorry, cough. So it could have been an animal, a bird, who knows? Terry Turner says His Royal Highness probably learned to drive in the forces, so he might not have had to have taken a test. Again, possibly true. I don't know the status of whether he took a driving test or not, but he's not exempt from holding a licence. Okay, I don't think we should be overly worried though. I do believe the statement that he is okay. Okay, and I think we are going to leave it here because we do not know any more information. I've been through everything that we do know. So like I say, once this video has gone live, if you want to leave your own messages, your own well wishes, then please do. So I'm going to leave this video here. If anything else does crop up that's really important, of course I will let you know somehow. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Obviously not the content of the news, we are not giving that a big thumbs up, but if you've enjoyed my coverage of it, at least, then do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, hit that notification bell, and do please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. It really does help. So, from me in Shropshire, we have a donation. Kelly Douglas, $1.99. Thank you so much to you, Kelly. The Super Chat donations really do help. So, from me in Shropshire, good night and God bless. Mwah!